Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be studying about what causes season, right? How seasons are caused. Earth's tilted axis causes the season, right? The tilted axis of the earth and the revolution which it takes around the sun, right? It causes season, the revolution of the earth and the tilted axis of the earth. Both are responsible for seasons. Throughout the year, different parts of Earth receive the sun's most direct rays. So, when the North Pole tilts towards the sun, it's summer in the northern hemisphere. And when the South Pole tilts towards the sun, it's winter in the northern hemisphere. So if anyone asks you what causes season, you will simply say the tilted axis of the earth and the revolution which it makes around the sun. Both are responsible for causing season. Why? Because earth rotates in a tilted manner. The earth revolves around the sun in a tilted manner, right? And the revolution of the earth, it takes 365.25 days. Earth completes one revolution in 365.25 days. That is one complete year. And in one complete year, there are 4 seasons. So, what causes season? The tilted axis of the earth and the revolution which it takes around the sun. Now, earth has seasons because its axis is tilted. Earth rotates on its axis as it orbits the sun. Orbits means it revolves around the sun. But the axis always points in the same direction. Now see, it is tilted. Your earth is tilted. It's not straight. It is tilted like this, right? So this is your southern hemisphere. The equator is dividing. If you see this yellow line, that is your equator dividing the earth into southern hemisphere, and this is your northern hemisphere. Now this is the tilted portion of the earth. Your southern hemisphere is receiving the direct sunlight. Summer south of the equator. Now there is summer in the south of equator. South means in the southern hemisphere. Why? Because your southern hemisphere is receiving the direct sunlight and your northern hemisphere will be having winters, right? So December, summer south of the equator, winter north of the equator. The sun shines directly on the southern hemisphere and indirectly on the northern hemisphere. Now see in the second picture, your southern hemisphere, right? It is not receiving the direct sunlight, right? But still it is facing the sun. So fall south of the equator. Fall means there is a transition. Now we are moving from summers to winters. Slowly and slowly there is a transition of season. There is summers. There is fall, not summers. There is fall season in the there is fall season, or you can say autumn in the southern hemisphere. Your southern hemisphere is now making a transition from summer to winters, right? Because it is not receiving that much amount of sunlight now. So fall south of equator and spring north of the equator. The sun shines equally on the southern and northern hemisphere. Now come here. Now your northern hemisphere is receiving the direct sunlight. It is very clear. And your southern hemisphere is not receiving the direct sunlight. So there is summer in northern hemisphere and winter in southern hemisphere. And again, if you see it clearly, there is a spring. There is a spring in the south of the equator and there is fall in the spring in the south of equator and fall in the north of equator. So that is how seasons are changing, right? The way your earth is receiving the sunlight. Spring south of the equator, fall north of the equator. The sun shines equally on the southern and northern hemisphere. So this is the diagram showing the seasons. Just go through this diagram very carefully once again. If any query is there, right, you can contact me on your WhatsApp group. Again, I'm just focusing on it. Right? Now, I hope it is clear to you ki what causes season. Now, what is Earth's grid? Earth's grid are these checks which are formed by the latitudes and longitudes. These are your latitudes and these are your longitudes. Now your latitudes as well as your longitudes both are imaginary lines. So even your Earth's grid is also imaginary, right? These are the crisscrossing of latitudes and longitudes which form your Earth's grid. And how it is useful, it helps us in locating the places on the Earth. Wherever your latitude and longitude meet, right, it helps us in defining the location of a particular place on the Earth. Wherever, right, wherever your latitude and longitude are meeting, it helps us in defining the location of a particular place on the Earth. Now we'll discuss about Earth's grid in detail, right? We'll discuss about it in detail tomorrow. Meanwhile, go through all these slides once again. And if any query is there, you can contact me on your WhatsApp group. Thank you.